Hello, I'm Barbara Sharrock, and I'll talk to you about the relocation experiences of highly skilled professionals in Lithuania. For my project with Create Lithuania, I interviewed 24 people from 17 different countries of origin. But why is that useful? It's because Lithuania's policy focus needs to move beyond damage control on immigration and the minimum requirements from the European Union in our migration policies. Only relatively recently has labour migration to Lithuania been increasing. I believe that in order to attract more to Lithuania who can help achieve its economic goals, there needs to be collaboration and understanding of their first-hand experience of the country's migration processes and how they can be improved from their point of view. It can't be left to chance, but it's also a difficult competition. Compared to many OECD countries, we're not a commonly considered option, and not all of these factors which make a country attractive are within our control. Lithuania doesn't have a commonly spoken language, particularly high wages, long-established migrant communities, or general awareness and prestige of the country in general. This makes it difficult to promote Lithuania as a destination when there's so many options to choose from, but we can learn what works for Lithuania by talking to those who have already arrived. So who's already arrived in Lithuania? These are some of the basic statistics on the people I spoke to, and there's more data in my full report. When looking at the Migration Department annual report, there's a specific grounds of migration for highly skilled work, which is the blue card. But in reality, there's many people who are high skilled workers that don't necessarily fit those specific criteria. Their migration grounds don't tell the full story of their motivation. For example, students are not necessarily inexperienced and often work full-time, and these statuses change over time too. The particulars of someone's pathway in Lithuania you find from attention to the individual. One thing in common for everyone when it comes to moving to a new place. It's a big change. People were either actively seeking a new environment to grow and have new experiences, or because conditions in their own country meant it was time to leave. They can be seeking a new work-life balance, more independence from family, seeking career challenges, or are spurred to action after COVID-19 with trends such as the Great Resignation and revenge travel. There were participants who were feeling a need to travel before certain life milestones, such as having children, or specifically came to Lithuania to be with their partner. Some interviewees were part of a wider immigration trend, such as brain drain in their country of origin, economic or political instability, while others were involuntary migrants that came to Lithuania for safety. A common question for foreigners who come to Lithuania is why, especially in comparison to other destinations. Often it comes down to some version of accessibility and visibility. There is a specific opportunity located here. It might have been the fastest and most responsive when choosing between multiple organizations, or best fit the needs of their partner. Also, Lithuania's cost compared to some other countries was an important factor for comparison. For many people, they came without specific expectations or knowledge of Lithuania. But if you can be the first to offer the position that fits their basic criteria quickly, or at least don't create additional barriers, they're willing to discover what it's like to live in Lithuania. The reasons they arrive are often different to the reasons that they stay, such as enjoying the cleanliness, safety, and nature of their new home in Lithuania. To focus on migrant needs, different stakeholders can do different things. For employers, willingness to hire internationally, facilitating the process of moving and documentation, and being the first to offer the role is a key factor from the individual's point of view. For the Migration Department, it's about having a quick acceptance process into the country, understanding where the bottlenecks lie, such as at external application centres or nationality restrictions, and instead offering alternatives to those who will bring their contributions to a knowledge-based economy in Lithuania. The digitized systems in place and financial incentives are good, but for many, the migration processes continue to take months. Besides being the first mover advantage, you also need to have access to the basics. If you want people to live and work here, they need housing, employment, healthcare, financial services, and they need to be able to access them in the first few months without Lithuanian language proficiency and without dependency on local networks, which foreigners will not have in the beginning. Some employers would provide private relocation agency services as part of this, and there are also municipalities with international houses opening in the last few years to assist. However, some of the issues are outside of their scope and more systemic, such as the illegal practices of private landlords which cause barriers in declaring residency, or the international recognitions of health and financial records. However, most of the time, people are relatively self-sufficient and can find what they need by themselves, if there's information which is simple to find in their language or people that they can ask, making sure that newcomers have first points of contact that they can then expand from. Migrants who found professional networks, approachable co-workers, or other local connections were better able to address any issues they'd come across. Facilitating this can be done through in-person events and by continuing to publish material which is easy to follow. Relocators can choose to ask connections for help or DIY their solutions with up-to-date and reliable guides. When people come to Lithuania, it's usually because they're introduced to Lithuania by friendly or professional connections. New arrivals, not just Lithuanian citizens, can also be promoters of the country, and they're also one of the best positioned to make suggestions on how to improve the experience for future relocators. They collaborate and share advice with each other, provide feedback to their workplaces, and correct misconceptions about Lithuania. They are individuals motivated to contribute to the community, especially if proactively engaged and offered the opportunity to share their perspective. Lithuania has already shown that they can move quickly to change processes and provide support when there is will to do so, such as in the case of Ukrainian temporary protection beneficiaries. Some of these previous initiatives can be models for future improvement for other priority groups of relocators. This was a really brief overview of this project. I'm very passionate about making Lithuania known as a good place to live and grow, so feel free to ask me more or offer your own ideas.